wanted to try to put together into words some of the amazing things that God has been doing in our lives, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot, guys, and we haven't been able to share it all in real time just because, guess what? It's a lot of inner work, so it's been a lot of tears and anger and pain.
Screaming.
Stuff you don't want to see, and stuff we're not going to get our camera out to record. Really, we started like every couple starts. They meet each other, they love each other, they are in the honeymoon stage of life.
They see similarities between each other because that's what brings them together in the first
They're
place.
like, oh my gosh, I found a guy who's just like me. He's like on the same page as me on everything. We agree. We like never argue. We have like this amazing communication skills.
That's the mistake. That's the mistake that you make before you actually get with any human being on Earth, and then you realize that no two people are alike, no matter how alike they are.
For sure. So we got married, and then so we think we're on the same page, but we're not because we're human. Because this is the story of every couple.
And as you get deeper in the layers, you know, because people are like onions, just like ogres, and you get deeper and you realize, you know, another layer of yourself. And as we got deeper in our layers, we realized how not on the same page we were in, you know, crucial things.
Yes. The problem was, as we didn't realize we were not on the same page, we couldn't even talk to each other about it because we communicated differently.
Yeah.
So like all of our even skills of being able to solve these problems, we didn't have any of them. So we were broken and we didn't have any of the tools we needed to even start to fix it. And not only that, but a year after we got married, we decided to go into the mission field.
Yeah.
So then we have the whole level of missions and all that adds to a relationship and working together and doing ministry together and doing 100% of your life together. So Cade had some broken areas in himself about ministry.
I had some broken areas in how I viewed serving God with all my strength and with everything, because that's what I knew I wanted to do. But I just assumed that the best way to do that for everyone, for me, is ministry. But it was a wrong assumption, now that I'm figuring out. And so I took the chances to be a missionary, but...
Because it was like, hey, the door opened.
And this is ministry, so this must be...
That must be where we're supposed to go. And so we both came into serving together with 100% hearts wanting to serve God. Like that was an honest... The yearning of our hearts, it really, really was for both of us to serve God with our whole hearts, with all of our lives, with our family, with our future, and that's what we did. But not only did Cade have these broken spots, but I had broken spots.
Yeah.
I had been serving in Brazil as a single missionary for 10 years. After 10 years, you have a way of doing things, and you have a way that works for you. Especially if you're my personality, and you're like, okay, this is how this is done, this is how this is done, this is my system, this works perfectly. We moved to Brazil and I'm 7 months pregnant. We don't have time to figure out a system that works for Cade too. So we do it Rachel's way. So Cade's broken pieces in ministry and Rachel's broken pieces in ministry meet, as well as their regular life. We're starting a family, we're not sure, you know, we thought we were on the same page, but we're really not, because we haven't even had these experiences together to know how we react. So we had all those things together, plus the broken communication tool. So we had no tools in our toolbox. And so obviously, 6 years into our marriage, 5 years into being in missionaries in Brazil, we started to get marriage counseling.
Yeah, and that was really good. That's the best thing.
And it was like the door that opened everything else, right? Like it was the key,
in a good
the
way,
tool that God used.
In a good way, but also
in
a bad way, because when things are under the surface and you dig them up, then you get a whole bunch of stuff that's been hidden. So it looks like it's getting worse, but really it gets better.
We met Mad Cade. We met controlling Rachel.
Yeah, we did.
We met controlling Rachel. It was not a fun Rachel. We don't want that Rachel.
I came to Brazil out of thinking, oh, that was the only option I have because I want to serve God with all my heart, so it has to be ministry. Oh, missionary, that's ministry. So I did that. it's still giving me the tools today to serve God the way that I'm going to serve Him.
For the future.
For the future.
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So in a way, I would not be who I am without this today. And so it was the right choice.
Okay.
How does not perfect things still work out to being perfect?
Because of Romans 8:28.
Yeah, because of Romans 8:28. So in retrospect, it wasn't the best choice, but it was the best choice.
It was definitely the best choice. We regret none of it. I was living the dream because I love Brazil. It is hard for me to leave, but I do know that is how the growth process works. So for me, it doesn't feel like the best choice to leave, but I know that it will be the best choice. Just like coming here might not have been the best choice.
Yeah, because just like you just said that,
but it
for
will
me,
be the
for
best
me,
choice.
okay, so for you, it doesn't feel like it's the best choice to leave, but it will be the best choice. For me, it feels like it's the best choice to leave. No, here's what happened.
With the
Here's
Lord.
what happened. We were here, like, okay, well, before we got married, we were here on the same page. We got married, we got deep into the layers.
Yes.
And then we realized, we didn't even realize, but we were like doing this thing, right? We were in different directions. And now, somehow, we're coming around and we're doing this. It's crazy how that works.
Yeah,
because
we're getting on the same page.
Yeah, that happened.
And a lot of that breakthrough came through getting marriage counseling and figuring out how the other person communicates. I would say that was definitely like the key that was able to unlock everything to help us learn ourselves, learn our marriage, learn our broken pieces in ministry.
Yeah.
We had to be able to talk to each other. And like you were saying before, the thing was not just one person could be unlocked. It had to be something where both of us
So God was working on you in the way He works on you.
Because I feel like God started working in you first. But I couldn't see it. Like you were like, change needs to happen, something needs to change, but I couldn't see it because I didn't want to see it.
And then certain circumstances happened to you
and
that
I was
made
like,
you
hey,
see different things.
We need some
But
changes.
you didn't see that it was me yet, but you saw different things.
Yeah,
and then
but
He was working
once
in me.
I saw stuff, then I was like telling you, and
But
you were
then He
like,
was
oh
working
no,
in
I don't
me.
think so.
No, but then He was working in me the way He works in me. And then there was one thing that affected both of us that I was going to make the decision about that we're talking about. And then that unearthed our working, that we're trying to come together. And then we kept trying to come together, and then we figured out. Because listen, God was working on me, then He was working on you through your circumstances, and you didn't see that it had anything to do with me. You just saw that. But then when we started to talk about something that affected both of our family, it was building a house in Brazil, buying land in Brazil. That was what unearthed. That was like
controlling Rachel and angry Kate.
Exactly. Well, no. Controlling Rachel and angry Kate have already been there. It was slowly more and more.
Yeah.
It was what brought our wholes together. So okay.
Our broken pieces collided.
Okay.
At the end.
So here's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
We are both in the earth, and we are digging, right?
Okay.
Or God is, I don't know. We're digging. So we're digging a hole, and our hole is not the same hole. So we're doing this thing right here. We're close. We're in the same sphere, but it's not the same hole. Things have to happen for me and to her, and then finally, we kind of came together, but there was still a whole mess, and our hole was still all like, like we just figured out, okay, so let's try to figure out how to do this together. So then we fight and we figure out how to dig together, and now we're digging a huge hole, and we're digging a cave, and we're actually more close to making an underground house, an underground space for an underground bunker
Underground
flourishing station. So we were trying to carve out with our hands living spaces underneath the ground. And then when we finally, the circumstances that got worked through to put us together, we finally started figuring out how to dig at the same rate and how to dig with the same strikes and how to dig at the same time together. And then we figured out how to use shovels together. And then we figured out how to communicate and go on one side and go on the other side. And then now we're making this huge space, and we're going to be able to make a cool bunker so that when the apocalypse comes, we will be set.
Oh my goodness.
But doesn't that describe it though? Doesn't that describe it?
Yes, it's a beautiful picture. So this is basically a long story to explain how we started going to marriage counseling, and then we ended up leaving Brazil. which seems like it has nothing to do with each other, and in a way it doesn't. And it's not. That's the biggest thing we want to share, is that it's not a sad story. It's a beautiful story.
It's a happy story.
It's a story about us growing, and it's a story about us learning, and it's a story about us finally learning how to communicate.
Yeah.
And we're not done yet. We're not. We still have a lot more to learn. We haven't gotten it perfect. There's lots of stuff we still have to go, but the whole point, one of the points of reference within our journey of growth is we're heading back to the U.S. We're heading back to the U.S. as a good, exciting growth step, not because anything went wrong. Not because we're going back to the U.S. because things started going right.
Yeah.
And that has nothing. That's not saying Brazil is wrong. It's saying our journey involving Brazil is evolving, is changing and growing just like we are. And what's really, really cool about this is all of the people we work with, while they're sad to say goodbye, they are on the same page too, and they agree. They agree that they're happy for us going back to the U.S. and that this is the next step for our family, for us personally, for us as a couple.
Yeah.
And so to have that confirmation of other people agreeing and being happy and excited and helpful, and all of that has been amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being on this journey with us. And this is another step, and it's a good step. So.
And enjoy the view, enjoy the B-roll.